I'm conscious of the time, and I'm conscious that this has been a challenging debate for everybody in this House, and I thank all those members who contributed, and I thank all those members with who are generous enough to have conversations with me about this bill. I have so much I would like to say, having listened to the contributions of members, but I will keep my contribution very short so we can facilitate a second reading vote in relation to within the 90-minute envelope. I want to very briefly touch on a couple of issues, and the first is the question of legal opinions. One QC and one professor to two QCs, a barrister and four professors. It's not a numbers game though, and I would particularly like to point to the aged care quality standards that were alluded to in the advice provided by the Honourable Jeremy Buckingham. Standard B, the provider understands and values individuals, including their identity, culture, ability, diversity, beliefs and life experiences. And J, the provider must ensure that the funded aged care services are delivered in a way that is culturally safe and culturally appropriate for individuals with specific needs and diverse backgrounds. This goes to the heart of what this bill aims to do, to ensure that our multicultural and multi-faith communities can be provided for in aged care in a way which respects their identity, their culture, their beliefs, and is culturally safe. I am surprised by the arguments in relation to lack of consultation. In fact, a couple of members have expressed the view about a rather large amount of consultation that they've been receiving in relation to this bill, and please can I make it stop? I have literally had thousands of emails, and I thank every single person who took the time to reach out and communicate their views. And I think this is the feedback and the consultation that is most important, the consultation on the ground. But there has been consultation with peaks. To think that the aged care providers haven't spoken, everybody got a letter from an email from Anglicare the day that the bill was presented. I certainly and other members of Parliament received correspondence from Catholic Health Australia, Baptist Care and Anglicare before this bill was even commenced, asking for this matter to be raised in Parliament. A letter that was also signed by the Catholic Archdiocese of Sydney, Sydney Anglicans, Bishop Tarabay of the Maronites, Archbishop Macarius of the Greek Orthodox, Imam Shadi Al-Sulaiman of the Imams Council, and the Reverend Dr. Ross Clifford of the New South Wales Council of Churches. And of course, what has happened as this bill has been debated is that more and more faith communities have expressed their views about the need for this legislation. There has been much said about transferring people who are close to death. I think it's important to recognise what is actually happening. For the first request and the second request, it is essentially the same process as somebody in an aged care home going to a cardiologist or an oncologist. That is quite standard. And for the last step in the euthanasia process, where the VAD substance will be administered, most commonly by a doctor through a needle, that is, you're not searching for new accommodation. Typically, you would be being transferred to a hospital, again, not uncommon in aged care. In fact, doctors and geriatricians with whom I spoke said that they are transferring people in and out of aged care to hospitals all the time according to the particular needs that have arisen. Some have called this bill cruel because of the fact that people would be transferred and that people may be in too much pain to be transferred. Every single geriatrician, every single doctor who works in aged care, every single intensivist with whom I have spoken have said, if that is the case, that patient is not getting adequate palliative care, and that is what is cruel. If we are not providing appropriate palliative care to our most vulnerable, if we are allowing them to live in pain needlessly because we are not supporting them in their last days, that is cruel. And that needs to be considered and addressed and dealt with as a matter of urgency. Questions have been raised about distances, which especially those in the regions may have to travel, and I thank the Honourable Emily Savall for asking the Library for research on this area. It's very clear from that research that there are 14 postcodes in regional New South Wales in which there is only an aged care facility and there is no hospital. And we did the maths on transfer times. The transfer time between the aged care homes in those 14 postcodes and the nearest hospital is between 11 and 27 minutes. Now, you might say that that is longer than the transfer time in the city, but that is the case for every other aspect of regional healthcare, whether you're having a baby or dealing with a broken leg. It's not a matter for this bill. In terms of timing, the VAD report tells us that the median time from first request to VAD is 20 days. I want to finish with this comment from some of the many consultation I received from a pastoral carer in an Anglican residential aged care facility. New residents found it hard to move into aged care, knowing they were only going out in a coffin. Our job as the staff was to give people a reason to keep living. We fed them, washed them, supported their frailty, and then reminded them of the wonderful world God has put them in, connecting them to things they used to enjoy while supporting their limited mobility and cognition. On the day I learned that voluntary assisted dying was to be introduced as an option into our home, I cried. I cried for what this legislation might do to the social fabric of our residential aged facility. Introducing VAD would lower morale of the whole community. Why strive to provide good palliative care when someone could just kill themselves? This is the essence of this debate. What we are talking about is not big organisations and individual people. We are talking about the fact that the person in the aged care facility who seeks VAD shares that home with maybe 60, maybe 80, maybe 100 other people, and they are all affected by the presence of VAD in that home. And the very culture that that faith-based facility is trying to build, a culture of care, is undermined by the presence of VAD in the home. We've just had a major inquiry into loneliness in this Parliament. We know what an epidemic loneliness is, and we know about the many problems in our aged care homes. None of those problems are solved by rejecting this bill, but by allowing faith-based homes to actually provide a home, to actually provide a community based on shared values and a shared ethos. We are actually helping people live really well in their last days and die really well in their last days. And I commend this bill to the House.